In tonight's Tax Insider, a Watchdog exclusive. On Saturday, D.C. will open the first stretch of its highly anticipated streetcar. The project was nearly a decade in the making. The trolley will stretch 2.4 miles at a cost of roughly $200 million. That's $83 million per mile. A new report by the Taxpayers Protection Alliance finds D.C. also spent millions on marketing. Joining me with the latest is David Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Dave, your report is titled D.C. Streetcar Project, Millions Spent on Marketing and Mistakes. Before we get into your findings, give us some history here. Originally, this was a much more ambitious project.
That's right, Morris. This was a very ambitious project back in early 2000. They wanted a 20 to 40 mile long trolley car, different lines around the city, but 20 to 40 miles. Now imagine 40 miles at $83 million a mile. We're talking about $3 billion, but they had to pare this back, and now they have, as you mentioned, a 2.4 mile segment from 3rd Street Northeast on H Street to about Benning Road. So $200 million is a lot of money for really a short stretch of plot that really doesn't transport people from one part of the city to the other. That's what public transportation is supposed to be about, is taking people from one part of the city to the next.
More like a carnival ride now.
Yeah.
Were we hailing back to nostalgic days? Is it because the feds are pouring in money? What's going on?
Well, it's a combination of all those things. Remember these big highway bills that they would debate and they would never pass? Well, they would throw earmarks in there, and some of the earmarks included trolley money. So it's these big spending bills. It's Obama, but it's also nostalgia. We remember the 1960s and these trolley cars, and people want to go back to that nostalgic vision of America, but it has a price tag, a huge price tag.
Bring back DC-3s to National Airport, stuff like that. Your group submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to DDOT last year. It cost you $1,800. What did you find out?
Well, first of all, we found out that it costs a lot of money to get a FOIA request from the Department of Transportation here in D.C. We also found out that they love to redact information, and that's probably why it costs so much, is the man hours to cross out the information that we really wanted to see where the money was being spent. But $2 million, think about this. This is for marketing and this is for advertising for the streetcar. And a lot of this money was spent during 2013 and 2014. Now, Morris, think about that for a second. Why are you advertising a streetcar in 2013 and 2014 when it's already been approved, it's already been built, and all they're doing is testing it? You really don't need to advertise it at that stage of the project.
Why all the redactions? Was it, and again, we're talking about a couple $1 million. Was it for the marketing, and why would they take that out?
Well, they took a lot of the information out because there were a lot of names that were associated with it, but we're concerned that there was a lot of substantial information that was also taken out as to where the money was going. We saw dollar amounts, but we didn't see exactly where some of the money was going. But what we did see was very disturbing. For instance, $263,000 for advertising and information videos. This is just a generic line item that they had for this. And then we saw $163,000 for local and national PR. So this is to really sell the project locally, but also nationally, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And Morris, I think the biggest find for us was the website for the streetcar. $174,000 they spent on a website. And I contacted some people who build websites, and they say that at max, this should be $30,000 to build this website. And they were saying maximum $30,000. But taxpayers spent $174,000 for this website. Let that sink in for a second.
All right, so the streetcar will be free of charge. It's supposed to run every 15 minutes except on Sundays. The trolley won't be generating rider fees, so why publicize it at all?
Well, that's a great question, and you're right. This is going to be free for a few months. And then after that, how much are they going to charge? Is it going to be $1? Is it going to be $2? Is it going to be $20? I mean, they probably have to charge $20 to make back the money, but obviously they won't charge that much. So not only the $200 million, but the operating costs of continuing to use the streetcar. So we could see this getting into, tens of millions of dollars more for a project that really is set up to fail.
Dave, city leaders will argue that ultimately this streetcar will generate business up and down D.C.'s Northeast Corridor and return that $200 million investment to the city's taxpayers. What's your response?
It's really difficult to see that this is going to return the investment, because back when this was first thought of, especially the H Street corridor, there wasn't a lot happening on H Street. But now there is, and people are going to this corridor, they're spending money. They don't need the streetcar, and the streetcar is 3 blocks away from Union Station, so it's not even even that convenient for people to take the streetcar. So I don't think that it's really going to make the money back. And we're concerned about the future precedent is, are they going to build a streetcar on K Street? They've talked about this. They've talked about tearing up K Street Northwest and putting a streetcar there. We're hoping they learn from their mistakes, and we hope that they know that we're looking at them and that we will ask the same questions if they build other projects like this.
Exclusive report here on Capitol Insider. David Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.